Thanks for joining me today. My name is Alp Bora. Welcome to my channel where I will discuss with the industry leaders on how we can achieve sustainability in mining. In today's episode, I'm very happy to introduce my guest, John Passalacqua, the CEO of First Phosphate. Hi, John. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Yeah, very good, Alp. Thank you for having me.
Can you please tell us about yourself and the company?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of First Phosphate. First Phosphate is a mineral development company that's fully dedicated to extracting and purifying phosphate for the production of LFP cathode active material. Basically, both products start with phosphate, which is mined much in similar ways. But then, you go to various levels of purity after you extract the phosphate from the mine. The first level of purification is weak phosphoric acid, which then becomes merchant grade phosphoric acid, known as MgA, and that's where 90% of phosphate ends. It ends in MgA, which then goes towards animal feeds and mostly towards fertilizers. So that's about 90% of the world's use of phosphate. There's another 10% of uses where you take the MgA, the merchant grade acid, and then that gets upgraded to what's called purified phosphoric acid. And within purified phosphoric acid, there's many different types depending on the use, but generally you get a food grade purified phosphoric acid, and there's also a battery grade purified phosphoric acid, and that's that second, third, fourth type of purification that you need to get into the batteries. So when we look at phosphate for LFP battery, we're looking at very high level of purification, about 3-4 steps, depending on the exact specs, and we're looking at a phosphate that's devoid of almost all trace elements, and it's in its most purified form.
If I understand correctly, it's the First Phosphate is looking to PPA or purified phosphoric acid production, especially for the LFP battery technologies. Am I correct?
Yeah, so I mean, our business model is a fully integrated business model where we would start from mine and we would end up at LFP cathode active material. So in between, you have to mine the phosphate, then you have to beneficiate it, which means you concentrate it up to a level of about 41% P2O5, which is phosphate. And then from there, that rock concentrate is taken, it's turned into purified phosphoric acid, which is what we intend to do. And then after it has become purified phosphoric acid, it is mixed with lithium and iron sulfate, and it becomes LFP cathode active material. And then from there, the LFP cathode active material goes into the battery cells, the battery packs, the batteries, and the EVs. If that's not too confusing, I don't know what is, but that's kind of the process.
What about the market right now? The LFP battery is mainly dominated by the Chinese market, right? In China, what are the challenges you are seeing with respect to the LFP battery technology in North America?
Well, I mean, the challenges are just like you said, there really is no LFP cathode active material production inside of North America. There was one little small test plant that is now, I believe, has ceased producing. So it's a completely open ground for people in North America to start producing the LFP cathode active material. But we're constrained. We're constrained by the ability to have phosphate. Phosphate rock from the mine in North America has been depleting for a number of years. The amount of purified phosphoric acid being created in North America has been steady to declining. The amount of merchant grade phosphoric acid in North America has been declining. The mine lives are declining. And the mines that we do have in North America are of sedimentary rock, not of igneous rock like First Phosphate has. And so it makes it more challenging because there's higher levels of contamination and there's much more purification required to make the purified acid. So you can only make a certain amount of purified acid. And then, what the limited amount of stock that we do have in North America of phosphate rock and of merchant grade phosphoric acid, it's needed for agriculture, it's needed for food, for feeding people. So we don't want to have that compete with, with the new use, which is also just as noble, batteries. But, food is obviously more important concern, and it's a well-established concern. So what we're doing at First Phosphate, we're bringing on a new deposit, an igneous rock deposit, which is extremely rare. It's found in northeastern Quebec, and that will be fully dedicated towards the LFP battery and the needs of those who require LFP cathode active material, i.e., a technological group of clients.
John, I've been watching First Phosphate for a couple of months, and there have been some exciting news. I mean, last week, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen the memorandum of understanding with Prion. Can you tell us more about this MOU?
Yeah, so Prion is a great company. They're now a partner under the MOU, and they're the largest producer of purified phosphoric acid in Europe. They supply the food markets and some of the other industrial use markets, but also they have a great technology for creating purified phosphoric acid. The technology to create purified phosphoric acid is very rare. By the wet method, which is the environmentally friendly method. It's very rare in the Western world. There's only about 4 to 5 companies who have that technology. And so, Prion is going to be licensing that technology to us so that we can produce purified phosphoric acid based on our mining stock that we are producing in Quebec at some point. And they're also interested in purchasing our phosphate concentrate. So that helps us, to get into cash flows and to get a good base to get the mine going. And they also supply purified phosphoric acid. So until we get set up and get going on our mine, they're willing to provide us purified phosphoric acid. And then until we get our own facilities up and running to create purified phosphoric acid, they'd be willing to, toll process for us some of our beneficiated rock. So it's a great partnership. It's a great company, great technology, very experienced. They've been around, for 70 years in this market. They pretty much invented purified phosphoric acid, and it's a real pleasure to work with them.
That's great. That's great. And speaking of the good news is, I believe 2 months ago, First Phosphate was listed in CSE. Congratulations. It's not the easiest time to fundraise. So how was the sentiment from the investors?
Yeah, so thank you for that. Yes, it was, it's very difficult for companies to get capitalized, let alone to get public, right, in such markets. But I mean, our fundraising did really well. I can't say that it was the easiest thing in the world, but we oversubscribed our 2 raises. Our first raise was for $1 million. We oversubscribed it to, I believe, $2.3 million. And our second raise was for $2 million, and we oversubscribed it, I believe, to $4.3 or $4.4 million. So it was a lot of work, but investors are very interested. They're very interested in batteries. They're interested in good management. They're interested in phosphate. We're working very hard. They see us working very hard. And so I feel that, in any market, there's always going to be money for good companies, but you have to work really hard. And I think it's great because it makes us more focused on working extremely hard to keep investors happy and to get new investors in.
Great. Thank you very much, John. And my last question for you today is, what are the next steps for First Phosphate?
Yeah, so this year is going to be a very interesting year. I mean, we're continuing some of our drilling programs on some of our blue sky properties where we're finding some exceptional phosphate grades, just like we released yesterday at our Bégin-La-Marche property. But on our more established property, which is La Coloniale, we've moved that into 43-101 recently, and now we're moving into a PEA, which is preliminary economic assessment, which gets more into the logistics and the feasibility of the mine. So we've engaged a company to start doing that for us a couple weeks ago. We hope to have the results by the end of this year. We're also moving to a beneficiation pilot plant for our concentrate, our rock concentrate. And then from there, we're going to be creating some samples of purified phosphoric acid, and we want to use those samples to then homologate into the battery cells for certain producers of LFP CAM, and to have some LFP CAM made out of our purified phosphoric acid. Those are really the main points. We're just kind of building out that value chain from mine all the way to LFP cathode active material, just one brick at a time, working hard every day.
That's great. And all that in North America, in Canadian.
Yeah, all of it to produce a North American ESG grade purified phosphoric acid and LFP cathode active material, something that can fit into the just-in-time systems of some of these auto manufacturers that are downstream and who are going to need LFP cathode active material on a very strong ESG scale right here in North America, fully traceable, ethical, everything else that's part of ESG.
That's cool. Very exciting news, John. Thank you very much for joining me today. It was great speaking to you, and best of luck.
Yeah, thank you, Alp, and please let your viewers know if anybody's interested in following our story, and they can go to www.firstphosphate.com. They can sign up for our newsletter. They can find us on Twitter. They can find us on LinkedIn. Also, our shares are trading on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the ticker symbol PHOS. That's PHOS, like phosphate. And they're also in the Frankfurt Exchange under the symbol KD0 in Frankfurt.
Awesome. I'll put all these links in the chat.
That's excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations on your new book. I've started flipping through it, and I really believe in what you're advocating for mines. And it's we follow that philosophy wholeheartedly in everything we do here at First Phosphate.
Thank you, John.